Tonight, police ask for witnesses who saw suspicious activity as they hunt for the cause of BC's Bold Range wildfire.
Some of that fire was coming over the ridge, and then you saw fireballs.
A first glimpse of the damage, giving hope and confirming loss.
Not knowing, that's probably one of the hardest parts.
And the warnings, it's not safe for residents to return as a new arrest is made inside the evacuation zone. 15 months after Lily and Jack Sullivan disappeared, their mom is speaking publicly for the first time.
I love my children very, very much. I'd give anything to just hold them right now.
Why she stayed so quiet for so long and her message for investigators right now. A pilot project aimed at having air traffic controllers work remotely.
Don't like it. I would rather people looking out a window.
So will NavCan go all in on AI?
From CBC News, this is The National with Crystal Comansing.
Thanks for joining us. Adrian is away. An RCMP investigation is underway tonight into the cause of that explosive Bold Range fire burning in BC's Okanagan Valley, one that has forced thousands to flee. Police are looking for witnesses who saw what they call suspicious activity as crews try to contain the fire's spread. Officials say some structures have been lost, but it's not yet clear how many. The province remains under a state of emergency, and Ottawa says the military is on standby to help if needed. Jessica Chung with the agonizing wait for residents to see if their homes are still standing.
All burnt down.
A journey through charred destruction, a view of what's left behind from a wildfire that's still raging in BC's Okanagan.
Yeah, it went from nothing to as big as it got.
There was a house there.
Ira Short made it a point to document what he saw as he drove south through Summerland and posted it online. The videos instantly garnering thousands of views as those from the community mined the images for clues about whether their homes survived.
I got a couple of messages this morning about how, our video that I never intended to go online is giving people, either confirmation their place is still there or, closure that it's gone. And that's, not knowing, that's probably one of the hardest parts.
Short is one of the thousands forced to flee from Summerland and the surrounding area. Some have lost farms and homes.
That was a mobile home.
Structures burned to the ground. The growing Bold Range fire now covers more than 150 square kilometers. RCMP are investigating the cause, asking anyone who saw something suspicious that may have sparked it to reach out. Some evacuees fled north to Peachland. Most went south to Penticton, all trying to get back home.
It was just horrendous. It's indescribable. And some of that fire was coming over the ridge, and then you saw fireballs because it's forest. So that was coming down, and that's when they came, and a windstorm and the heat.
It's scary knowing that all it takes is a little bit of wind and there'll be thousands of homes lost.
Officials have not yet said how many structures have been lost, and as frustration grows among evacuees, there's concern some will try to enter the evacuation zone to check on their properties.
We're all also directly impacted, and we're also evacuated, and we would love to get back. We are working on triaging highest priority cases for interim access, and as soon as we can get that.
Now, the RCMP are reiterating the same message, saying that a man was arrested on Sunday in Summerland within the evacuation order area. Now, as it stands right now, the evacuation order still covers all 12,000 residents of Summerland.
And Jessica, we're learning more about assistance from Ottawa.
Yeah, so Ottawa says that the military is on standby if they are called upon. They are already providing accommodations for evacuees. Now, the province is still under a state of emergency, and there are concerns that a weather system coming in midweek may bring some lightning, and that has some concerns of some new fire starts.
Jessica, thank you. Jessica Chung in Penticton, BC for us tonight. Well, elsewhere in the province, some evacuees forced out by other fires are being allowed to go home. Evacuation orders were lifted for more than 600 properties north of the Pear Lake fire. And part of an evacuation order related to the Bradley Creek fire has also been downgraded to an alert. That wildfire is believed to have destroyed more than 200 homes near Vernon. A powerful earthquake has struck Colombia, killing at least 130 people and trapping many more in collapsed buildings. The magnitude 7.4 quake hit around 7:30 Monday morning local time. The epicenter was near San Jose de Palmar, about 300 kilometers west of Bogota. As Karen Pauls tells us, it kicked off a frantic search for survivors.
When the earthquake struck, this man sought shelter in the Pereira airport.
Por un momento pensé que hasta aquí llegué.
Later saying he thought it was the end of the line for him. Shock as part of this iconic neo-Gothic cathedral fell in Manizales, a city about 300 kilometers west of Bogota. More than 130 people have died. Over 1,000 are still missing. The 7.4 magnitude quake so strong, it was hard for some to stay upright as they fled. About 260 kilometers away, people watched in disbelief as the pediatric wing of a hospital collapsed in Cali.
Momento tenemos por lo menos.
The city's mayor, Alejandro Eder, says there are many badly damaged structures, some with people still trapped inside.
It was scary in a maximum extreme way.
This man and his family got out of their apartment safely, but he says parts of the city are devastated.
We hope, we're praying, and yes, pray for us that things could get worse than this.
In Winnipeg, Cruz Woloski has been watching the coverage all day. She has family in Medellin. Most have confirmed they're safe, but she hasn't heard from her younger brother and niece near Cali.
Because I've been trying to reach out to him and don't have any answer for him.
So the messages aren't even getting through?
No, not at all.
Earthquakes are common in this region of Colombia. It lies along what's known as the Ring of Fire, the line of seismic faults encircling the Pacific Ocean where most of the world's earthquakes occur.
The fact that it's 100 kilometers down puts the energy away from people live. So this earthquake, we don't expect it to have been as severe as the Venezuela earthquake, for example, which was more shallow. But it is still quite large.
There have already been several aftershocks, with some airports damaged and flights canceled. It will take days to get a complete picture of the devastation. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A Montreal man has been convicted of second-degree murder by a New York jury in the death of his 9-year-old daughter. Melina Fradolin's body was found last year in a rural area of New York, partially covered by a fallen tree and a large rock. That came after her father claimed she was kidnapped towards the end of a long weekend trip to the U.S. with Luciano Fradolin. He was also found guilty of concealing a body. His sentencing is set for October. More than 15 months after her children went missing from their Nova Scotia home, the mother of Jack and Lily Sullivan spoke publicly for the first time in an interview with CBC News. Angela McIver has more on why she's still holding out hope that the siblings are alive.
I don't feel I owe people anything. If anything, I'm owed answers and to have my children back to me.
Malaya Brooks Murray makes no apologies for staying silent. She hasn't talked publicly since the weekend her 2 children, Jack Sullivan, who was 4 at the time, and Lily, who was 6, went missing from their home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. She says she was advised by the RCMP not to talk.
I just did whatever they told me to do because I didn't want to jeopardize the case in any way.
Brooks Murray says she heard Lily and Jack playing in their bedroom the morning they disappeared on May 2nd, 2025.
Seeing Lily's face pop in the bedroom.
You laid eyes on Lily that morning?
Yeah.
And you heard Jack?
Yeah.
Then, later that morning, nothing. At 10:01 a.m., Brooks Murray called 911, Police descended on their home and property, and search crews combed the surrounding woods. The following day, Brooks Murray left the area, and she says she has never returned.
The police had said that we should go and told my family privately to take me out of there.
That day, the relationship between Brooks Murray and the children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, came to an end, a point she declined to talk about, along with the environment inside the home. Brooks Murray says even though she hasn't been in the spotlight, she has been working with police behind the scenes. She says from her interactions with RCMP that she believes she and her family are not considered suspects.
Did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No.
What do you think happened to them?
The only thing I can assume is someone took them, but for what reason I don't know.
RCMP have always maintained this was not an abduction, and no suspects have been named in the disappearance.
I continue to get the same update over and over, and I keep asking for new avenues, and they keep saying we're working on it, and I just don't feel like that's enough.
RCMP declined an interview, saying the investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan remains a priority for the Nova Scotia RCMP, and many of the investigative steps being taken and the progress being made can't be shared publicly.
Birthday cards that are unopened, waiting for them for when they come home.
Brooks Murray continues to buy her son and daughter gifts for every occasion, including birthdays and holidays, pairing new items with the old.
At the end of the day, I know that I'm a good mom and I love my children very, very much. And I'd give anything to just hold them right now.
She feels Lily and Jack are still alive, and for now, she keeps waiting and hoping for answers. Angela McIver, CBC News, Brookfield, Nova Scotia.
Ottawa is offering new relief tonight to the country's steel industry. As Evan Dyer explains, it's part of an attempt to offset the impact of U.S. tariffs at a time when more levies could soon be on the way.
This is a response to these extremely unfair, unjustified tariffs.
In Hamilton, Canada's steel town, the Liberal government announced its latest attempt to soften the blow of U.S. tariffs. $100 million in subsidies for Canadian steel producers to cover half the cost of shipping within this country, a move welcomed by industry leaders.
We have, since the day the tariffs were announced, focused inward. What is in our control? And there's a tremendous amount in our control. And so we're focusing on domestic markets.
Across the country, another announcement, $30 million to help companies in BC weather the tariffs, in part by expanding into new markets. Both come as Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is expected to continue talks in Washington this week, and as the clock ticks down on the latest Trump trade threat, a new 50% tariff on a range of Canadian goods, which could take effect August 19th. Touring the Saguenay, Pierre Poilievre reiterated the Prime Minister shouldn't give anything away without getting a more comprehensive deal.
No more caving, no more unilateral concessions without any gains in return. Use our leverage at the table to get the win that Mark Carney promised during the last election.
But others warn this is not the moment to try for big wins. The goal should be to avoid drama.
Treat this in Washington as a boring, low-grade, conventional, technical discussion. Keep it out of the president's temperamental, impulsive vision, and just hope that we can get through the midterms.
The head of Canada's biggest steel producer welcomes the new measure, but no one is under any illusion that making it cheaper to ship steel domestically can compensate for crushing tariffs from Canada's biggest customer. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Longtime Liberal MP Sean Chen says he is stepping down, citing his health. In a social media statement, the member for Scarborough North in Ontario says issues stemming from a car crash last fall prevent him from traveling to Ottawa as frequently as the role requires. Chen's departure sets the stage up for 9 federal by-elections in the months ahead, 3 of which are set for the end of this month. A Montreal man has been arrested for allegedly making death threats against the Prime Minister. RCMP say the remarks were sent in an email to a senator and other unnamed individuals. The 51-year-old is charged with uttering threats to cause death or bodily harm. A former Toronto flight attendant is facing jail time after being accused of posing as a pilot to fly for free. Cheyenne Desjardins now with how he pulled it off and how he eventually was caught.
Jet plane headed up to the sky.
For years, a Facebook account linked to Dallas Pekornik shared travel adventures like this in London, Mexico, LA. Now he has pleaded guilty to wire fraud after posing as a pilot and taking free flights for years.
This was a special case that probably made it more difficult to get this person because this person knew the system and knew the workings.
Based on court documents, Pekornik did work as a flight attendant for a Toronto-based airline from 2017 to 2019, but that airline was not named. He later used a false and fictitious identification badge, claiming he was still employed by the company, navigating airports undetected, snagging hundreds of free tickets from 3 U.S.-based carriers from 2020 to 2024.
Well, I think that, the forgery must have been pretty good.
That ended after an employee of one of the U.S. airlines took a picture of his badge. Pekornik's former employer then reviewed it and confirmed it was fake.
Are you a real life pilot?
I sure am, little lady.
It's awfully similar to the 2002 movie Catch Me If You Can. Here, Leonardo DiCaprio's character posed as a pilot to defraud an airline. And just like this movie, Pekornik got caught. Now he's facing up to 20 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000.
I think it's kind of a wake-up call to all of us that people can manufacture authentic-looking IDs.
While this former pilot acknowledges this is concerning, he says air travel is still very safe.
We probably won't see it again because people are going to be more vigilant about it.
Porter Airlines is the only major Canadian carrier headquartered in Toronto. A spokesperson said the company is unable to verify any details related to the story. Pekornik's sentencing is set for December 8th. Cheyenne Desjardins, CBC News, Toronto.
Nearly 30 years after the shooting death of hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur, a man accused of his murder is about to stand trial. Jennifer Yoon takes us through the larger-than-life story that got us to this point.
Grab your blocks when you see Tupac.
West Coast hip-hop legend Tupac Shakur in the thick of an ugly feud. Rapping about a Glock, the type of gun used to end his life a few months later.
Shakur was shot 4 times after leaving the Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas.
Now I'm back to set the record straight.
Now, nearly 3 decades later, jury selection has begun in a murder trial into Tupac's death. Former gang leader Dwayne Keefe Davis accused of masterminding the murder. The trial comes 7 years after Davis published a memoir in which he admitted he bought the gun and called the shots after this alleged altercation between his nephew and the rapper. Them jumping on my nephew gave us the green light to want to do something to their ass, he said. Pac pulled out a strap, and that's when the fireworks started.
Yeah, this is my book here. I would like you guys to buy it and get the real truth.
Then, Davis went around promoting the book, insisting it was the truth.
Hey, Keith, Metro Police, come over here.
Vegas police arrested Davis, charging him with murder even if he did not pull the trigger. Now, he's changing his tune, saying he told tall tales in interviews to make money, just like rappers do in their songs for street cred. Some legal experts doubt Davis's defense will work.
That's a little bit different than when somebody publishes a memoir and they say, this is my life. And the other problem is for Mr. Davies and his lawyers is that he gave interviews where he says, yes, this memoir is accurate. This is my life.
Of course he's going to say that now.
Tupac's cousin doesn't buy it either. He wants accountability.
Justice has been foregone years ago. The night my cousin was murdered. It should have been an intense investigation.
Davis has pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he faces life in prison with no parole. The trial is expected to last a month. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
U.S. health experts are slamming an executive order narrowing the number of childhood vaccine recommendations.
Very importantly, vaccinations for hepatitis B, COVID-19, and influenza, among others, are no longer recommended for all children.
U.S. President Donald Trump also wants the combined measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to be split into 3 separate shots. The head of the American Academy of Pediatrics has called the announcement not only disheartening, but dangerous. Cleanup is now underway in China, 1 day after Typhoon Dolphin made landfall in the country's east coast, including Shanghai. More than 1 million people were forced to preemptively relocate. Dolphin has since been downgraded to a tropical storm, but torrential rain is still expected over the next few days. Well, parts of Europe are bracing for their 5th heat wave of the summer. The punishing temperatures are fueling record-breaking droughts in the UK. And as Nella Ayed shows us, it's putting some farmers in a difficult position.
Hello, you lot.
Stephen Hook's family has farmed in East Sussex for 250 years.
Finding a bit of grass to eat.
He's never seen it as dry as this.
In the last couple of years, the challenge from the weather has been off the scale. It's like nothing that we've known before.
What drives Hook's farm is working with nature to produce grass-fed, raw organic milk. And so when nature rebels, the whole enterprise falters. The health of his grass determines how many cows he can keep and the quality of their milk.
Normally, this hill of grass, if you like, comes out to here. Is that nice, is it?
The unrelenting heat means there won't be enough to get through winter.
If I run out in February, I've got to try and source some food or sell animals. Yeah, it's horrendous, really.
It's been a horrendously dry, record-breaking year in the UK. July was the driest since record-keeping started 190 years ago. That's led to heat warnings, low water levels, and even bans on using sprinklers.
If you can believe it, this is Hyde Park, known normally for brilliant green grass, and you can see signs like this all over the city. Now, a drought has been declared in the whole of Wales and in more than half of England.
There's high demand for Hook's milk in London. He sells it himself. But the overall state of the country's farms has already led to shortages and concerns about food security.
So that's 18 million litres that is no longer on the marketplace.
Rachel Madley Davies, who's also a livestock farmer, says the problem and the consequences are global.
I think it's really key that farmers everywhere listen up and assess their businesses now and adapt for the future to make them more resilient.
Because the next heat wave is already starting. As a farmer, Stephen Hook is still fueled by optimism, but it is being tested. Nala Ayed, CBC News, London.
Some airports in Canada could soon have off-site air traffic controllers.
All we're doing is we're taking the visual view of someone looking out of a window, replacing that with a digital view onto screens.
How AI is being used in the new tech, next. Canada is facing a growing threat online.
What we saw as one of the primary sources of disinformation in Canada was Russia, China, India. The United States has now begun to start overtaking.
How that could be fueling the Alberta separatist movement. And Halloween in the summer?
A traditional birthday party is really not something that would be like fulfilling for him.
We're back in 2. Nova Scotia's Supreme Court has approved an $18 million settlement in a class action lawsuit over the crash landing of an Air Canada flight. In March 2015, a plane flying from Toronto to Halifax struck power lines during a snowstorm, landing about 200 meters short of the runway. 25 passengers were injured. The Halifax airport has since upgraded its navigation and lighting. An airport in Kingston, Ontario is about to start testing a major change to how it handles air traffic control, and artificial intelligence will play a big role. Elise Skura explains how it works.
From the outside, it's pretty clear. This is not the air traffic control tower you're used to, because controllers are elsewhere, maybe even in another city.
But you can start seeing movement, so it helps our air traffic controllers and our traffic services staff be able to pick out the things that are relevant to them.
NAV Canada says this is the future, remote air traffic control with new high-tech features.
It's the same level of service that we end up providing. Essentially, all we're doing is we're taking the visual view of someone looking out of a window, replacing that with a digital view onto screens.
Super exciting time, obviously.
Ottawa's Kongsberg Geospatial designed the system and says it will provide access to services in remote community, just as it has in the home of its parent company, Norway.
As we're seeing the development and implementation of AI into more and more technology, this is another great example where the system can continue to learn, what am I looking at? What are the aircrafts? What are the weather conditions?
Travelers at the Ottawa airport aren't so sure.
Don't like it. I would rather people looking out a window.
The more you put stuff like this in, the more it screws up. All right? You need the human factor, regardless.
Hamilton Airport, with 300,000 travelers a year, will be the first fully remote location, and those air traffic controllers have been asked to move to Kingston. The union is concerned they might leave the field instead.
And attrition is only, I'll say quote unquote, only, 10 or 20%. We can't afford to lose a single air traffic controller right now in Canada.
NAV Canada says this change could be part of the solution. When fully operational, up to 15 airports could be remotely monitored from Kingston.
It provides more flexibility in our staffing in the long run.
NAV Canada says that it won't be moving to Hamilton until a year of shadow testing in Kingston shows no possible issues and until all regulatory hurdles are cleared. With the stakes for all involved so high, whether this comes to an airport near you remains up in the air. Elise Skura, CBC News, Ottawa.
Disinformation from the U.S. is making its way across the border.
Just days after Canada's election, the country is in absolute chaos.
How it could be influencing some voters in the upcoming Alberta referendum.
Welcome. What can I get you today?
More fast food companies are turning to AI to run their drive-thrus.
Can you give me a side of ranch?
Want to add 2 cookies for $1.59?
No, ranch.
But is the tech up to the task? Those stories coming up next. Ten weeks from today, Alberta voters will have their say on whether Canada is in danger of losing a province. So there's plenty of time between now and that October referendum for foreign actors with bad intentions to do what they can to interfere. Social media experts say they're using disinformation to stir emotional arguments for separation. It's all sent out of American-owned platforms, and U.S.-based meddlers seem to do it the most. Back in January, Eli Glasner looked into this growing threat and the push to have it taken more seriously. Here's another look at what he found.
I think we should let them come down into the U.S., and Alberta is a natural partner for the U.S.
A moment in an interview that echoed across social media as the U.S.-Canada relationship goes from lukewarm to frosty once again. Scott Bessent, a member of the Trump inner circle, appeared to fan the flames of the Alberta separatist movement.
They have great resources. The Albertans are very independent people.
Despite those long lines to sign a petition in support of this fall's referendum, support remains far from the majority. But that didn't stop the sentiment from spreading quickly, the talking points picked up and duly amplified by Trump supporters.
I think the people of Alberta would agree with that sentiment, that they would prefer not to be a part of Canada and be a part of the United States because we are winning.
With talk of separation in both Quebec and Alberta, social media researchers are worried about a new front in the battle between Canada and the States.
We really need to get our act together on this because generative AI in the next 6, 12, 18 months is going to transform how we understand information.
So yes, we are incredibly vulnerable.
We really have to get serious about this. How are we going to get reliable news about what's happening on platforms that are owned by American billionaires?
Justin Ling is a columnist with the Toronto Star. He says exploiting splinter movements is part of the American playbook.
We've already seen instances of Americans with ties to the White House skulking around Greenland, looking for those who would support the idea of American annexation. We would be delusionally naive To think America wouldn't do the same damn thing.
Brian McQuinn is the co-director of the Center for Artificial Intelligence Data and Conflict at the University of Regina.
What we saw as one of the primary sources of disinformation in Canada was Russia, China, India. The United States has now begun to start overtaking as one of the largest sources of disinformation targeting Canada.
So you're saying in the world of disinformation, United States is now one of the most serious threats to Canada?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the amount of information, whether it be around vaccines or other types of topics, the amount of disinformation coming from the US, and the White House is a specific example of that, because of the size of the networks, because of how that's picked up.
There's lineups around the corner in Alberta for a separatist movement, and that now there's talk of the referendum again in Quebec. Could you see those divisions exploited?
So many of us lived through the referendum in Quebec and the sort of shock as we watched the returns that night. This will be utterly different than anything we've ever seen before, because I can guarantee you that Trump, for example, will be commenting, and so will his entire administration, on the dynamic the entire time. And so it will be a level of vulnerability that we could not possibly understand. And it creates a pretense as well. Look at Canada, that looks like a civil war is beginning to start. They're looking for parts of it are going to tear away. We better intervene.
So when Trump says Canada is becoming the 51st state, he's really talking about Alberta, and that's important because that's a gateway to the Arctic.
Angus Bridgman is the Associate Director of Research at the Center for Media Technology and Democracy at McGill.
There's this sort of really interesting kind of connection with the Canadian discourse where the American one and the Canadian one kind of go back and forth a little bit.
All right, what gets talked about in America can become part of our discourse. That's nothing new. But here's the problem. More and more Canadians are getting informed not from the news, but social media. And it's happening on American platforms with little Canadian control.
So our entire democratic infrastructure, the way we talk to one another, the way politics is done nowadays is online, is on social media platforms that are largely based in the United States, almost exclusively based in the United States.
And while news organizations have been largely pushed out,
our research has consistently shown that what has happened is a dramatic decline in Canadian news availability on these platforms. So partly because of Meta's news ban on the platform, but also X's decision to downrank content with links have hurt the news industry enormously.
As Bridgman's research shows, as news media shrinks, they're being steadily replaced by an army of influencers.
The United States has a very active and financially lucrative creator market.
Something astonishing is happening in the Canadian province of Alberta.
And so what that means is there are people who get up in the morning and their job is essentially to attract attention in online spaces. Their job is not to inform, their job is to attract attention.
In a world where content creators literally get paid by clicks, engagement, if not enragement, is the key.
One of the really important things about this space is that they are almost completely agnostic to the truth.
Just days after Canada's election, the country is in absolute chaos.
They're not particularly interested in the truth. They're interested in whether or not a particular story or statement will get a lot of attention and traction in online spaces.
At the same time, as the power of generative AI increases, it's getting hard to tell what's real.
We would always be able to tell when something was a little janky, but now the quality, and it's improving literally month by month.
What's next? Prepare yourself for this one. AI that tailors disinformation depending on the target.
And what we're beginning to see as well is that the AI is able to actually generate profiles of people who, a certain age, a certain ethnicity, a certain political, and actually is able to emulate them online while subtly including the sort of nefarious messages that malicious state wants included.
And while disinformation grows, McQuinn says the ability to track it is getting more difficult.
And this is the challenge. It is possible for countries to be much more assertive. The thing that's not talked about is that all capacity for researchers to study what's happening on those platforms has almost completely been removed.
This is the frustration for researchers faced with a growing threat.
It's very difficult to reconcile sort of Carney's speech in Davos, where you're talking about having to chart a new course.
In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice: compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact.
And then have a democratic infrastructure that is entirely based in the United States. In a situation where the United States becomes more hostile towards Canadian interests, there is enormous vulnerability where our ability to organize, have conversations, is compromised.
If we find ourselves, in a world where America is not just threatening to annex the North, Greenland, Canada, wherever, but is actually putting it into action, how are we going to get reliable news about what's happening on platforms that are owned by American billionaires?
With Canada about to re-enter CUSMA negotiations, where our own digital sovereignty could be on the table, McQuinn says the responsibility comes down to us, the users.
We are some of the most educated societies on the planet. You need to always question what you are clicking through. And if you don't want to have a society where the people who you disagree with are an existential threat, really question whether this sort of amplitude of conflict, which is what a lot of these actors want, is that something you want to contribute to? You and every person can make a significant difference in how this unfolds.
An Alberta separatist group says it is currently working on a blueprint exploring the structural policies needed to establish independence. Coming up, fast food giants turn to artificial intelligence to keep their drive-thrus moving.
Can you give me a side of ranch?
Want to add 2 cookies for $1.59?
No, ranch.
When ordering a bite comes with a side of bought. That's next. Major U.S. fast food chains are turning to artificial intelligence to run their drive-thrus, and Canada may not be far behind. Earlier this year, Nisha Patel visited a Detroit White Castle to learn about their systems and what staff and customers think about the shift.
The next time you head to a drive-thru,
Welcome. What can I get you today?
you might notice something different.
Can I get you any hot or mild sauce?
I'm at American fast food chain White Castle in Detroit, and AI is about to take my order.
In the U.S., major companies are turning to artificial intelligence to run their drive-thrus, and Canada may not be far behind.
But is AI up to the task, and could fast food jobs become obsolete?
The rollout for AI drive-thrus has been rocky, with some customers trying to trip up the AI intentionally.
And 100 waters.
Absolutely.
And that'll be it.
Others becoming disgruntled if the chatbot makes a mistake.
Can you give me a side of ranch?
Want to add 2 cookies for $1.59?
No, ranch.
The mix-ups going viral and prompting some brands to go back to humans taking the orders.
Hi there.
But over the past year, the technology has improved rapidly, and more fast food chains are putting AI back on the menu.
What soft drink would you like?
American burger chain White Castle calls their AI chatbot Julia. The AI listens to the customer and responds to questions. Inside, the order pops up and staff prepares the food. And if there's a problem, a real person takes over.
At first we had a few hiccups, but we straightened them all out and it's been doing good.
Store manager Denise Harley says she's embracing her new digital coworker.
They just help us get the orders in and out faster.
And some of the younger staff don't even remember a time when AI wasn't part of the team.
I thought it was going to be hard to work with, but actually kind of makes everything easier.
And she never calls in sick, right?
No. That's the best thing about her. She don't be calling off on us.
For customers, the new system takes some getting used to.
If you do something out of the ordinary, it doesn't recognize it.
It was pretty interesting. I mean, it was no hassle, able to get what I want.
Just how efficient is the AI? We decided to test it out.
Can I get one original with jalapeno cheese?
Your order number is 15. Please pull forward to satisfy your cravings.
Thanks so much. That went pretty smoothly.
The next day, we tried a different location.
Oh, you have an extra Coke on there. Can you take one medium Coke off?
Got it.
No, you added Coke. Take off the 2 medium Cokes.
This time, a human had to step in.
Connecting you to a team member. Have a nice day. Hi, welcome to White Castle.
The technology isn't perfect yet, but it uses generative AI, which means it's always learning and should improve over time.
But it's well above the 90% range. We found that ordering with Julia is better order accuracy than we experienced prior to Julia.
White Castle has Julia in place at about 40 locations and says the chatbot frees up employees to take on other tasks like prepping food and walking it out to customers.
Thank you. Have a good day, okay?
So we haven't used it as a way to reduce employment. We've used it as a way to be hopefully more productive.
Fast food businesses have faced serious challenges in recent years, from rising costs to high worker turnover. The sector is betting on AI to fill the gaps.
We come in with better accuracy, more timely greeting and acceptance to really help the whole operation run smoother.
Introducing Dynamic Drive-thru by SoundHound AI.
California-based SoundHound develops custom voice AI chatbots, like White Castle's Julia. The company says they can give fast food chains a boost, lowering wait times at the drive-thru and upselling customers on the menu.
I think we're well beyond kind of early adopter phase when it comes to both merchants and consumers as they experience the AI.
Would you like to use rewards points to order your usual?
SoundHound isn't alone. Voice ordering chatbots seem to be hitting a tipping point. Major players like Google, Nvidia, and Presto are partnering with massive fast food chains. The industry is bullish on the opportunity.
Presto and SoundHound both confirm voice AI will be rolling out at Canadian drive-thrus within months. We reached out to multiple fast food chains. They wouldn't disclose their plans. But some labor organizers are concerned about the fallout for workers.
This is just happening at a speed which is outpaced any other technology change that we've seen.
Siobhan Vipond represents workers at the Canadian Labour Congress. She worries AI will have an outsized impact on young people looking for entry-level jobs.
These are like stepping stone jobs for a lot of people. Some people make their career in it, but it's a way into the market.
She says employees will need training opportunities and labor protections more than ever before.
There has to be a discussion with workers, with unions, about how we design this, how it gets implemented.
Over the next 5 years, the World Economic Forum expects positions like cashiers will be one of the fastest declining jobs, driven by automation.
I think they got our order correct and everything. I just hate that this is what the world is coming to. That just means less jobs for humans.
The role of fast food workers could shift rapidly if AI at drive-thrus goes mainstream.
Sorry, did I make a mistake? Try saying add or remove.
Experts say in the future, AI-equipped drive-thrus will be able to take orders in dozens of languages and recognize you by the car you drive and offer you your usual order. Coming up, an 11-year-old celebrates his birthday in a unique way.
I was just completely kind of overwhelmed by the amount of kindness and inclusion.
How his neighborhood came together to make it happen, next in Our Moment. This is Soren Griffin. He recently turned 11 years old and had an epic birthday celebration. Soren has autism, and his favorite thing to do is trick or treat. So his neighborhood in Huntsville, Alabama came together to make his birthday just a little bit sweeter. And that makes Our Moment tonight.
What do you say? Say trick or treat? Hey, Soren. For his birthday, I had the idea of seeing if some of my neighbors would allow him to trick or treat at their house because he loves trick or treating. Soren's autistic, so a traditional birthday party is really not something that would be fulfilling for him. I posted it in our neighborhood Facebook group and 83 people agreed. Oh, wow, okay. So I got their addresses, started an Excel spreadsheet. We were going around on a golf cart I decorated it with birthday balloons. People had personalized signs, not just candy either. There were like handwritten notes and Lego sets and Play-Doh. I was just completely kind of overwhelmed by the amount of kindness and inclusion. We started at 5:30 in the afternoon and we finished around 9:30 p.m. He wanted to keep going. I could tell that he was really enjoying it.
Now, some of the neighborhood kids have since asked their parents if they can trick-or-treat with Soren this year. So not only did he get 4 big bags of candies, but some new friends. Now, we don't know if that banana costume, which is his favorite, will be the one he chooses for this Halloween. And from all of us here at The National, thank you for being with us. I'm Crystal Gamansing. Take care.